Hi everyone. Here we are doing our virtual classroom, and my greasy hair is hid underneath this baseball cap, so I am fully immersed in the working from home vibe, right? Um, I want to commend you all for continuing with this connection, continuing to support your body as you support all the people around you. And while I desperately miss your smiling faces, there's assuredness in knowing that we're doing the right thing, not only for ourselves, but for our whole global community. So we're going to work through some aspects of the core today. My hope is that you've had an opportunity to look at those slides. If you have not, just kind of rewind a little bit and do some of the lecture portion. If there are any questions that emerge, of course, I am here in my living room to support you as best I can. And feel free to hit me up on that MCLE email or the elenskyyoga@gmail.com. That is just another way that we can stay in communication. So again, with my hope that you have had an opportunity to gaze at those slides, you'll see that the core is a deeply intricate system and network of muscles that both support our ability to stay upright and also support our spine, right? And I always love to say the spine is the center of the body's universe. So in that way, I guess our core is like the orbit, right? Like it keeps everything kind of in line and where it's supposed to be. So we got to show that core a little love, right? So we're going to do some movements today that incorporate all of those aspects of the core, the four main components. So we're talking rectus abdominis, we're talking transverse abdominis, we're talking internal, external obliques, right? But we'll also look at the pelvic floor as well as auxiliary support, both for the core, and the core supports the pelvic floor. And we know they all kind of work in tandem to keep our spine healthy and to keep us injury free. All right. So we'll get right to it. Hopefully that this doesn't feel too inauthentic and awkward. But we'll just do what we can, right? So here we are. We're going to come right down onto the mat. The majority of this practice today will be on the back body. We're going to start right away with waving bridge. Let me move this a little so you're not looking at my feet. So waving bridge, you'll find that the feet are walking just about an arm's length away from the sits bones. You can remove your socks if they're slippery because you'll want to feel that the full foot is grounded on the earth. With your inhale, peel the spine off of the mat. Allow the hip points to reach for the sky. So in addition to getting a little bit of back stretch here, what you're working toward is lengthening through those hip flexors and allowing for opening. Hip flexors support the thigh, and they're often quite tight, particularly as we are working from home and sitting down. Roll it back down. We've done this before, kind of as a body awareness for the spine, feeling each section of that spine make contact with the earth. Inhale, lift hip points to the sky. We'll do this a few more times. Feel welcome to pause and linger. Feel welcome to enjoy that stretch. And come on down, a few more passes, a lift, and reach, lower back down. Move this over just a little bit more here so we're kind of in the frame. Lift and reach. There's my dog. I was waiting for that to happen. Lower back down. Here we go, lift. I promise the production values will increase in quality, hopefully, throughout this journey. Lift. And lower back down. So we're going to shift into alternating toe taps. So extend the legs. So we've got this kind of 90-degree angle here. Toes are reaching away from the glutes. Back stays cemented. So you can see my back, there's no arc here. It's really placed firmly on the mat, and my belly is helping facilitate that stability. Tap and center, reach, tap and center. Now, resist the temptation to feel like you need to make contact with the earth here. Instead, just notice like where is your body telling you that you're max, that you've like arrived at your max, right? So that might be here, it might be here, or you may find that you're able to fully extend the legs. What's going to help determine that range for you is the ability to keep your spine fully integrated, fully cemented onto the mat. We want to keep that spine really stable because that's telling the core to activate in an effort to stabilize the spine. A couple more passes. Reach, tap, reach and tap. Last one. We're going to shift to both legs here. So finding that L shape again, heels are shifting away from the glutes. You don't want the knees bent at all. You want everything kind of reaching away. Now here you may wish to place the hands below the low back to help support and anchor the spine a little better. We're going to come down and in and up. Inhale, lengthen and lower. Exhale, reach back to center. Now remember, all of this movement is originating from those hip flexors. My knees, although they are extending and flexing back to that neutral point, they're not hinging in the way that the knee typically does, right, on that hinge joint. Instead, we're reaching, really kind of getting some activity here in the hip flexors, and you might even feel that energy in the top of the thigh. And if you do, that's totally valid, right? Because we know the hip flexors connect to the head of that femur bone to help invite mobility. A couple more passes. Keep breathing. Inhale, lower reach. Exhale, bring it back in. Take a moment, scoop up the knees, hug them into the chest. Give yourself a little love. That was not easy, but you did it and you're amazing. All right, we're going to shift here. I have my cheat sheet into a slow crunch. So if you like hands behind the base of the skull, feel welcome to do that. You can keep the hands crisscrossed around the chest, kind of mummy style, or even just reach the arms long. If you have a tendency to kind of tug on the neck with the hands, or you notice the elbows are starting to close in on each other, keep the arms open, or find any of those different variations, right? So I like thumb tips pointed down to provide a little traction for my neck. Feels kind of nice. We're going to exhale, 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 lift, gaze at the navel. Inhale, lower, 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 back down. We're going to do that for 8 passes. So exhale, lift, lift, lift. Feel that maximum contraction here, that concentric contraction. The muscles are definitely shortening. And then an inhale, lower, 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 back down. So this is really actively working that rectus abdominis, right? That 6-pack, the most superficial of the muscles of the core, which is why we can see them and is probably why we're so obsessed with them. But it's also working as you aim to draw the navel down towards the spine and really press that lumbar region to the mat. It's also working transverse abdominis, right? And we love our transverse abdominis, not just because it provides that corset, but it also keeps our organs inside our body. Super important. I know you did more than 8, but let's just do one more. And bring it back down. Okay, good job. All right, referencing cheat sheet once again. Okay, so we have leg lower. So here you definitely want to put the hands underneath the low spine. Invite a soft tuck of the chin. And we're going to come down, 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 down. You may be getting a little shake here at the bottom. And now exhale, up, up, up to center. So notice that my hips do stay grounded. And I'm not turning this into a reverse crunch. There's a place for that, right? But this isn't the place. We want to continue to stabilize and cement the spine onto the mat. I have nothing against reverse crunches, but that's just not the energy of this pose. Think draw the navel to the spine, almost as if you were like one of those little dolls that we used to have as kids where you pulled the string and it would. So think like as you come back up, you're pulling that string and it's pressing your spine to the mat. All right, couple more passes. Exhale, lift, lift, lift. Soft tuck of that chin. Neck wants to help. Don't let it. Exhale, lift, lift, and lift. Yes. Did you feel that in all of the center of your abdomen? I definitely did. And if you did, then yay. Yay for you. You're working it. Keep working it. All right, so here we're going to shift to the Pilates 100. We're going to do a modified to start. So knees are going to stay bent. Remember that energy of the heel drawing away. Let me move back so you can see my feet. Energy, like the heel is drawing away from the glute, right? So it's not this, it's more this. And even just in doing so, the heavy weight of your femur bone is activating your belly and asking it to kind of cinch up and contract for you. So a couple options here. You can keep your head and neck just rested on the mat. with a soft tuck of the chin so as to not take any tension in the front of the neck. Or you can balance the head and neck just on the shoulders, right? So really, and this sounds crazy, but really it's the solar plexus and the upper abs that is keeping the head and neck drawing up. It's really not the weight of the neck. So you can kind of play with that, how the core influences the cervical spine, right? And we know that because the core is the auxiliary muscle to the back. All right, so reach your fingertips long, 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 as if you could like reach them to touch the opposite side wall. Now we're going to inhale, beat the hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5. We're halfway there. You're welcome to extend your legs if you want to go there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it's challenging. If the head and neck is really starting to fatigue, go ahead and place it down if you're not already there. 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And knees to chest. Wag the head side to side. Get a little rock and roll. Get a little love for the body. You're doing it. You're here. I hope you're doing it. I'll never know, but you will. So do this for yourself, right? All right, so we're going to shift now into tabletop. So hopefully y'all can see me still. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So remembering how we find that perfect tabletop, creating wrist, elbow, and shoulder alignment and a perfect support for the shoulder girdle. Knees or hips distance, and you can measure that to fists width is an approximate measurement of hips distance for the average body. We're going to shift to a thread the needle variation. So walking one hand to the center of the mat, so the nose just about aligns with the middle finger. And then we're going to bring the opposite hand to the heart and reach it to the sky. So really working into those internal, external obliques to allow for this rotation. Now thread that hand through, but instead of coming down, I want you to pause and hover. So you're fighting that resistance and gravity. So this arm is firing a little bit, but what's activating is transverse abdominis. Inhale, sweep and reach. Exhale, thread. Pause, hover. We'll do it 2 more times. Sweep and reach. Pause. Now hover. Fight that gravity with the core. Keep it in and up. A few more passes. Sweep and reach. Pause. Now hover and unravel. So the opposite hand is now going to come to the center of the mat. Again, the nose just about aligns with the middle finger. Bring the hand to the heart and now reach it up. Internal, external obliques are allowing for this movement. And here's where we get that transverse abdominis. As you pause and hover, the belly is staying in and up to help support. Inhale, sweep and reach. Exhale, thread, pause, hover. 2 more passes. And you get a little bonus because that tricep is kind of firing here on the supporting arm. You're getting a chest opener, which we know we need, particularly if we're starting to round through thoracic spine with all of the sitting home office stuff. Walk the hands forward. Sit the hips back. Take a breath in, child's. Allowing length through that internal, external oblique. All right. We're going to flip it back over onto the back body, continuing to work transverse abdominis and the obliques with a few rounds of crisscross. So one knee is going to come in, the opposite is going to come out. Hands are resting behind the base of the skull. Lift head and neck to balance perfectly on the shoulders. And then we're going to twist, twist, twist. So resist the temptation to feel like you have to force the elbow towards the knee. Instead, really concentrate your energy on twisting out through that center core. Inhale, transition. Exhale, twist, twist, twist. Now you may remember these from like gym class as bicycles. So yes, they're in effect a similar posture, but this crisscross is so deliberate and so slow that it offers like this deep wringing out and a real contraction
for those internal obliques, right? The ones that are closest to your ribs, and position slightly lower, right? So you can feel that a little bit more towards the lower belly fibers. Couple more passes. Exhale, twist. Inhale, transition, twist. I like to think armpit towards the knee. It really kind of helps me bring the body across and down. Good. All right, we're going to shift to the roll up, which there are a couple of variations that you're welcome to explore. You can keep the feet grounded here. This is just a little help to stay anchored through the back, or you can extend the legs long. Whatever you decide is perfect. Just like honor your body and know where you're at today. Arms are overhead. It's an inhale to prepare. Exhale, float up. So deep contraction here. Lift at the top. And now think draw navel to spine as you really round and dome, like hug that belly in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, float back down. So here's your eccentric contraction. Go slow. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, float it up. Go slow. Allow for that resistance to start to tug the belly back, but you're stronger, right? Like you're going to fight up and over that gravity, up and over that resistance. We're just going to do 2 more, but this in effect is working each section of the core. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, float up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, round. So think really rounding through the upper back as you draw the navel sharply to the spine. Transverse abdominis firing. Inhale. Exhale, lower back down. Beautiful variation. Go ahead and hug those knees into chest. That is not easy, but you did it. Rock and roll up to seated. And we're going to come to kneeling. Take y'all with me here. All right. So I'm just on my knees on the mat. Let me move back so you can see me. So I'm just here on my knees. And I'm going to walk one leg out. So I'm opening up through that hip flexor, but now I'm going to contract this oblique as I slide the hand down. Anywhere but the knee is fair game. Reach opposite and fold over, right? So I'm getting lengthening in the opposite oblique and contracting in the other. And that's how it works, right? When we have muscle pairs, one is lengthening to support, the opposite is contracting to engage. Now zip up both sides of the belly, arms overhead, and find that opposite stretch. So look at my hand, elbow, wrist, and shoulder are one straight line. Now I'm going to reach long through this opposite side body, getting the stretch where once was contracting, getting the contraction where once there was stretch. Now this is a great place to land, and you may want to stay right here, finding a side plank variation by rolling the heart open. Keep the bicep rather drawing towards the ear, or you can dive that opposite leg behind and find side plank. Wherever you are today is perfect. You know, you're welcome to revisit this practice. I actually encourage you to do so. Make it yours. Take a breath. If that knee is lifted, go ahead and gently place it back down. Come back to center, and we're back on our knees. All right, walk that opposite leg out. So grabbing a nice stretch here. Glide the hand down, reach, and fold, right? So you may have a different experience on this side, and that's totally valid, right? So we want to honor that our biography will influence our biology. I love to say that. I love to think about how our activities of daily life impact our physical form for positive, negative, right? Zip up the core. Draw the hands back to center, and now that hand is going to land right underneath the shoulder. So I've got a straight line of energy here, and I'm going to reach long and enjoy the stretch because it's magic. Now this may be just enough. This is a beautiful side plank variation. It's yours. Or dive that opposite leg behind. Start to roll the heart open. So you've got this oblique is really firing. The opposite is opening, and because you're rotating the heart open, you've got transverse abdominis is starting to really fire up here. Keep going. Keep breathing. You're doing amazing. Bring that knee down, float through, find your tabletop once again. And we're going to shift to some cat-cow. Yes, we're there. It's over. Curl the toes, soften the belly, lift the heart and gaze. Really feeling that rich stretch through the rectus abdominis, right? And now here the feet go flat as you round and don't press away. So we're still kind of zipping up transverse abdominis as a vehicle for stretch of the spine. Curl the toes, belly goes soft, heart lifts. And feet go flat, tailbone reaches, round and down. Really, really draw that navel in and up. We'll do one more time. Find your breath. Inhale. And exhale. Let's bring it back down on. Oh, I lied. So we're going to stay just briefly on our knees. Just stretch out that psoas. Walking one foot forward. And then just gently sink in to the hip. So drawing the hip down. My knee is definitely past my ankle here. You can see, right? So I'm supporting, this back leg is down, so it's safe to go ahead and glide that knee past the ankle for kind of a crescent moon variation if that resonates with you. Pressing down to the top of that opposite foot to protect the knee, go ahead and switch. Maybe we can get a little better angle here. All right, hopefully, yes. So the opposite foot walks forward. I'm going to press down through my back foot to kind of hover the knee and shift the hips forward. Deep opening for psoas and groin. So we did a lot of work for those hip flexors. So now we want to give them some love and stretch them out. And bring it back forward. Find your balance, swing those legs around. We're going to come right down onto the back body again, bringing soles of the feet together, continuing to support hip flexor and groin, and just rest. Just rest back. Knees are open, gravity is supporting. If this is too much for you, you can place a pillow or a block underneath the thighs to help support the opening. Sometimes hip flexors get very tight and this can be uncomfortable. Or if it's simply not working today, you can bring the feet together and bring the feet wide and the knees together and open up through the abductors, giving a little tug on the low back. So you decide knees together or knees apart. Taking just a moment to perhaps celebrate your success, right? Like you were here, you did this today. We are navigating, unprecedented terrain, but we're keeping the energy positive. We're keeping the energy protected and strong. And I applaud you for that. When you're ready, come on back up. And I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for being here. Any questions or comments, remember, hit me up via email, either that Gmail or MCLA. And I hope you're doing good. I miss you guys.